Hello, everybody. Again, welcome to Just the podcast. We are getting off to a little late start because it happens that way sometimes. But we are here. Please, 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 as you come in the building, hit the like button. Share this broadcast out. We are going to be, let me get some work over here done, get this out to the public. All right, again, welcome to Welcome to Andrews the Podcast. Again, we are here live tonight. I have, we're going to continue this veterans theme today, and I'm talking to two esteemed veterans, one being the mayor of Andrews, South Carolina, Mayor Frank McClary, retired Colonel, United States Army, and I will have also on tonight Miss Sima. Let me get her name right. Don't want to mess it up. Miss Sima Salter from the Department of the Army. And she'll be up here shortly, and we're going to just, have a conversation. If you enjoyed that conversation last night with Sergeant Major and Colonel Frank McClary, you will enjoy tonight. Again, if you have any members of your family looking to go into the armed forces, this is definitely a show you want to direct them towards, either live or when we get back on. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the Colonel up right now. Needs no introduction, but I'll give him one. There he is, Colonel Frank McClary. Welcome, sir.
All right, good to see you again.
Good to see you, man. That was a great conversation last night. Sergeant Major, that was awesome.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, man. It was great seeing him again. It's been a minute. Everybody's getting busy, so it was great to see Sergeant Major Gibbs.
No doubt. So tell us a little bit about your guest tonight. I mean, our guest tonight. I'm already pushing it off on Coffee with the Colonel. So tell us about who we're going to be talking with tonight.
Okay, so tonight we'll have Ms. Sima Salter from the Department of the Army, Equal Opportunity and Diversity organizations, where she's spent, I know, probably more than 30 years doing this work. I had an opportunity to work with her when I served in the Pentagon on both tours back in 1996. My first tour in the Pentagon, I was a senior captain, if you will, in an intern program, had the opportunities to work and Secretary of Defense for Personnel and Readiness Office for a year as an intern. And then the second year, I moved down to the Department of the Army's Equal Opportunity Office. And so there, where I met Ms. Salters, she was running these programs for the Army. And so I was very fortunate to link with her, and I learned the civilian side. And it wasn't until then. I mean, I had 10 years in the military at that point, and didn't fully realize that it's not the men and women in uniform that runs the defense. It's actually the civilians that are our bosses. And so that was an eye-opening experience because 10 years in the trenches, general officer. When you see a general officer or a colonel come by, man, it's like you just need to stay out of these guys' way, because colonels, generals, lieutenant colonels, all those guys, those are pretty heavy hitters when you start talking about being, a lieutenant or a captain. And so I was at the captain level when I went there, and I got to meet and work with Ms. Salters. Learned a lot about the civilian side, learned a lot about diversity and the importance of that in our armed forces. And so then, because we're a diverse force, of all race, color, creed, you name it, religion. It's all there that we have to integrate, into our units, into our organizations to make it the most effective. And so that's where I learned a lot about, that part of being a leader is my time. And I spent the first year there. And then 2003, I went back for my second tour to the Pentagon. I was following my tour of duty in Iraq after OIF-1, and I had the opportunity to work with her again. And then we get her on. We'll talk a little bit about a project that they were actually trying to get me to be a part of, and she'll talk a little bit about that program. But it's a diversity program that reaches back down into the community. So hopefully we will be able to take advantage of that, because I was on schedule to go to I forget which one of the Caribbean islands that the Army is going to send me to work with some of the fraternity organization and try to bridge the gap between what they're doing in the community and what the Army is trying to do. Again, that will help tremendously when as a recruiting efforts for the Department of the Army. So that's what's going on now. I've been removed from the Army for about 8 years. Things change every decade, and so now for them to come down in the community to to try to leverage what nonprofits are doing, again through Boys and Girls Club, all those things to help develop our youth. That's what she's involved in at this point in time, and a whole lot more. So, great person, hardworking. She works harder than I do.
Well, I guess that will be a great introduction segue right there.
Not anymore.
Emma, what's going on? Did you hear all that?
I think so. Yeah, I heard enough. Let's put it that way.
Well, Miss Simma, welcome to Andrews. This is welcome to Andrews, the podcast. My name is Jamal, and welcome to Andrews, where we have the best discount on a mayor rate going in America right now. So please don't tell the people up in DC what we got going on down here. How are you?
We don't want to let any secrets out. No secrets. No secrets.
So Ms. Simma, tell us, and that was a great introduction. So tell us a little bit more about yourself, where you're from, and
Okay. I'll try. I'm originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but I've been in Virginia a lot longer than when I was born and raised in Pittsburgh. So I came to Virginia in 86. And I've been with the federal government. I just retired 43 years as a civilian civil servant for the Department of the Army. So I'm just happy to be here and happy to know Sir Frank.
She retired. She retired and didn't tell me anything.
Right. I didn't tell anybody. They're still a little concerned about why I left, but I'm out. I didn't need to hear about the last 43 years, but no, the Army has been the best experience for me, and I hope to continue to serve in some sort of community way.
So your position, it was a civilian position.
Yes.
That worked directly for the Department of the Army.
Yes, sir. It was civilians support the Army, or I should say the soldier. And there's about 300,000 civilians in the Department of the Army that actually work every day beside and for the soldier.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, and tell us about your, so it says equal employment opportunity and diversity. Give us a little rundown about exactly what it is you did for the department, in your last, before you left.
Yes, sure. What I technically did, I could, the title is one thing, but in the Department of the Army, in the federal sector, for all federal government employees, they are covered by what's referred to as the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and all of its amendments. And what we did was provide those rights on a daily basis to all civilians in the Department of the Army to ensure no employment discrimination. People were treated fairly, policies incorporated, no barriers. We tried to relieve any type, or eliminate any type of action, practice, or policy that might prevent someone from becoming, and forgive not the pun, but the motto, be all you can be. We recently just got that back as a mantra for the Department of the Army. It is now the official be all you can be that had changed over the years. But EEO and diversity was supposed to ensure that all of those 300,000 employees receive literally equal opportunity in employment.
So
So
you still sound like you're ready to hit office or a boardroom. How are you managing? How what's the transition like from doing what you're doing? You know, having that laser focus to now to
you want me to be
how are
honest?
you spending those days?
You want me to be honest? I actually I actually commemorated my retirement on my birthday. So it was my birthday present to me after 43 years to retire. So the first 30 days were kind of rough because it was a quick decision for me as well, but I'm okay with it now. But I'm trying to find my way and how I can support. Well, I know how I'm going to support the Army. I just won't have to do it 8 hours a day anytime soon.
She'll be back.
I'm just trying to find my way.
And so what the mayor Colonel alluded to working with you. What was that experience like when you met this this gentleman from Andrews, South Carolina?
I was afraid you were going to ask that question, but it's a highlight of my career, I should say. I could tell you exactly because when he called me today, I had to really think about it. But it was 1997, and a good friend of ours, Insuk Cho, was working in the office with Frank, and we were about to embark on the 1997 NAACP National Convention in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, actually.
Yep.
And it was actually the year that I got the Roy Wilkins Award at the National Convention. But Frank was brand spanking new to me. I had never known him before. We sat on a panel. See, he's laughing because he knows he's guilty. I'm not going to go into real detail. But Frank was, and probably still is, one of the greatest soldiers I have ever met, and that I can actually say that I've served with. But Frank didn't know what a civilian was either. so he had probably just come from someplace where there weren't any civilians. Look, he's crying. Is he crying? And so at the moment when I met him, it's funny because he's very, when he meets people, he's kind of like a chameleon. He can enter any situation, any experience, any kind of person, anywhere, and it all is okay. But I kind of checked him out because I was like, he got that look, like something's going on over there in that cubicle. And he was listening to me in insult, but he's crying.
That's funny, man.
But yeah, I had to, and I think I can say this, I had to school him on civilians in the Department of the Army and what we contrite to take.
Hey, I was a captain. I was a man coming off there. That's what I thought.
I had to prove my self-worth to Captain McClary. But we got that straightened out. And then he had to go to the NAACP, which he had never been to before, and it just happened to be in my hometown.
Wow.
Yeah. So, he kind of grew on me after that. So Frank and I have been working. What you want to say now, Frank?
Hey, you should have the look on your face when we were around that table, laying this whole thing out, and I'd received my marching orders from my colonel, my lieutenant colonel. This is what we're gonna do. Now I didn't have a clue, like she said, about this whole big, event. And so she said something in there that just didn't sound right, and I was like, no, we're not gonna do that. So she kind of looked at me as like, you're talking to a person who have, I don't know how many years you had in there that worked with senior level Department of Defense people, generals. And then here you got this little captain who's coming from company command who thought he, owned the world.
And he did.
Year 14.
And he hard charger. He thought he was in charge of something.
She's like, it was non-negotiable because I had my marching orders. I'm like, no, we're not doing that. And she was kind of like, this little captain.
I said, hold on. I said, hold on 1 second. And I went and took care of it. But yeah, no, he's a heart, and that's Frank right there. He has a mission. He gonna get it done, one way or the other, at cost of his physical being almost. and that's history right there. It's been like that. It's been like that since 1997. Just crazy. Just crazy. Look at him. I can't believe he's crying. Have y'all ever seen him cry?
Oh my God, man. No, but one of the, the smartest lady in the business, love people, care for people, man. And just, and that's what I learned from Sima and then I met a lot of great people around her, just people who love and care about other people, and that's where where it was very comfortable for me because, everything I did was, trying to help someone else, move forward. And so I just had to learn the ropes. I had to learn that in the Pentagon as a captain, I don't care as a general, because I would see, typically when not typically, but a part of the protocol when you enter to a room and there's a senior, and you're in there, the senior person comes in, everybody stands up. So when you so I'm in a room and I'm in there with some general officers, and then this other guy walks in and all those general officers stands up, and I'm looking around like, I thought y'all were the big guys. No, that's Assistant Secretary of Defense. You need to get on your feet, Captain. So I learned what this thing was about, man, and learned how to navigate the Pentagon. You're talking what, 20, 25, 30,000 people in there every day.
Yeah, the ones that we can count.
The ones the largest office building in the world. And is the hot throb for our Department of Defense. And, we were able, I was able to, as a young officer, interact with the Secretary of Defense, when I learned that, hey, yeah, this guy in the suit actually is in charge of all these generals that are in these uniforms, and you understand the dynamics. And I think that's really what sparked my interest in that side of the business. Because you remember Dr. Dorn, right? The guy I work for.
Well, I was just going to ask you, did you talk about that? Because that was the impetus to you coming full time, coming back to the Army. You were far ahead and far exposed at DOD, at the DOD level, which was a particularly important opportunity in your career, to work with Secretary Dorn at DOD, which is above the Army, if you're talking about organizations. So the Department of Defense, or the Office of the Secretary of Defense, Frank had it going on early on. Mm-hmm. When he came to us, he was primed. He was primed for.
Well, it was a great experience. And Dr. Dorn, again, you understanding that this one man that has a responsibility for all of the personnel action, whether it's health, whether it's pay, all those things that affect, a person and his family. Dr. Dorn was that guy. He was an appointee, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. A presidential appointee.
Yeah. And so I had an opportunity to work in that office as a young officer, and it was only 3 uniform guys, myself, a Marine Lieutenant Colonel, and then a captain, Navy captain, who was obviously the senior military guy. And then he had like 2 confidential assistants. I never knew what that was, but she didn't play. Renee didn't play. You didn't get to the boss through Miss Renee. And then you had the other young lady, Miss Anita. And then there was a boss, kind, smart man. I think I don't know if he's the president of at the University of Houston, or he left there that job and went and did something else that's extraordinary. But just exposed, I got to travel with him around the country, and learn so much. And that's those opportunities not afforded to folks at that level all the time. So I was selected as an intern to come do this, which I wasn't smart enough. I was fighting it. I wanted to stay in the trenches. Senior guys would say, "No, don't go to the Pentagon. Your career will be messed up." But that was probably one of the best jobs or opportunity to learn and grow and get to know the senior officers and those who were coming up. And then, of course, civilians who I dealt a lot with after that.
The network that you get, and that's, part of anybody's career or life experience is you gather people as you go. And you maintain those relationships, but those networks, I mean, it's exponential. Frank could probably pick up the phone, exponentially and get to people that people don't usually get to.
I was hoping I'd get in and see the big boss, but it didn't work out the last time I was out there visiting.
You tried. Well, it's probably more likely now. You might want to make a visit. Well, in another place. Well, actually, Bea would probably be your next Black Engineer of the Year. He definitely will be there. He made an appearance there this year.
Yeah, I saw General Johnson.
He's a doctor now, Dr. Johnson.
Oh, really?
Yes. I just talked to him the other day. Hey, did you hear about Bernard Oliphant? Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Is Jamal okay? Did we lose Jamal?
I think he's getting choked up.
Jamal, don't go away.
Yeah, I saw the sad news. I need to reach out to those guys up there, and
General Johnson's the one that let me know.
General Johnson did. Yeah. See, I was still trying to figure out how he left. He retired from the military, and he became what was the title? He was over all the referees in the NBA.
Oh, yeah. He went to the NBA. He was the vice president of operations for the National Basketball Association. But now, he's at Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
He's a professor at Georgia Tech, but he just recently received his doctorate. So he's Dr. Ron Johnson at Georgia Tech in Atlanta.
Yeah. He and I stayed on LinkedIn. We stayed connected.
Good.
But I definitely wanted to be a part of that basketball operation, but he left that.
He's still connected to him. Yeah.
But he and I were. I had an opportunity to work with him down at the one of the HBCUs.
Yeah, we were down. I think it was in Alabama. Yeah,
it was. And I have some friends.
That's when you met. That's when you met him.
Yep.
And so, Mayor, you was talking about, because I remember you spoke to me about going down to the Bahamas. Can you talk a little bit more about that program?
Yeah, it was well, and someone's gonna have to give us the details, obviously, but I was very honored to be, I call it a recall, so a few months ago. It was a few months ago. Tell us about
the National Conclave. The Army has a program going on right now where the National Panhellenic Council met with the Secretary of the Army probably about 2 secretaries ago. And that Secretary of the Army made sure that the Army makes a commitment, and it's part of our community outreach efforts. Outreach and engagement is what we refer to it as. And we have developed not necessarily a written paper agreement, but we are joining forces, which each of the Divine Nine in the National Panhellenic Council, to participate in their activities, whether it's mentoring, whether it's career fairs, whether it's educational opportunities, because we, of course, have mutual interests in ensuring youth and the community have access and opportunity to what we know is a lifelong commitment and dedication to further our place in the world and to further our access to opportunity. So we sent some Army uniformed members to the conclave because it was in Nassau, Bahamas. And if you know the Pentagon, then, we had to explain to them why we had to go to the Nassau, Bahamas with a bunch of Omegas. So I said, you know what? I said, we don't have to go. Why don't we get some affiliated Omega men to go for us, whether they were retired or active duty? And so we sent them to the National Conclave as exploratory. And we sent some marketing packages, some information so that they could share with their community. The National Panhellenic Council, 2.5 million people plus that they can reach. And we, of course, as the Army, want to ensure that everyone understands that there are military careers and there are civilian careers available in the Army. There are over 500 occupations for civilians. You don't have to put on the uniform. You don't have to get shot at anymore. You can serve in the United States Army as a civilian, but we also are still looking for those special people like Mayor McClary, who joined the Army and became stellar and a consummate soldier for the United States. So we're working with all the Divine Nine throughout the year at different events, and we will make sure that the Army, and of course, we have millions of soldiers that are affiliated in those fraternities and sororities. So where better would we have access to the community than through the community itself? That's building trust, it's building relationships, it's ensuring that people understand that the Army provides civilian careers with TSP, health benefits, educational tuition assistance. I mean, we've got a lot to offer that for some reason it doesn't stay up front. When you go to high schools, when you go to colleges, when you see Department of the Army, you don't automatically think about civilians.
That part where you just said, I'm definitely clipping that out, because that message does not reach down to Andrews.
Well, and that's amazing. That's amazing.
But through the marvels of modern technology.
Absolutely. We got to just keep it fresh. We got to keep it fresh.
Absolutely.
And matter of fact, Steve Harvey, one of the other events that I wanted Colonel McClary to join in is the Steve Harvey mentoring camp for young men. And they also have one for young women. And in May, around Mother's Day, we went to the Steve Harvey camp. We're trying to get and make sure that he gets buildings. He's got like 13,000 acres. And he brings young men from like 12 through 18 to a camp. And he was amazed because he didn't realize that there were civilian careers as well. Yep. And he's interested in being a spokesperson for the Department of the Army. He gave us, some shout outs on his morning show. So we're working with him, and we want Mayor McClary, Mayor Frank. Frank, we want him to carry that through to Andrews, because I'm sure you have youth in Andrews. You have people looking for federal government jobs. So we want to make sure that the Army is still relevant in communities, because it's like it takes a refresh. People move, people change, people forget. And so when you see the Army, you just automatically think you're going to have to go, overseas and get shot at.
Listen, getting ready for this, I'm like, I never thought that. I never thought about that. And so I promise you, this is new information for a lot of people, useful information, because
awesome.
Because that was never offered to. Man, I can just imagine now you going to kids saying, "Hey, look, you don't necessarily have to put on the uniform," and it'll attract more, because kids who got that thing that, listen, I don't want to get shot at, I don't want to, but then understanding that, man, I can still serve. Wow.
And let me tell you, the Army now, just stop me if you're ready for me to stop. But this is what's really particularly, it's sensitive, but it's serious. And again, there comes a time where people might think that the Department of the Army is trying to take, young kids, sign them up, to send them to war. Well, there are people that want to do that, but it's about choice. And the Department of the Army, just the Department of the Army, you got Navy, you got Air Force, you got Coast Guard, you got a whole bunch, but we're talking Department of the Army. Department of the Army is like any large worldwide global business. And those civilians, because the soldiers are there to, fight wars and win. you can't do that without a support environment. And that's what the civilians do. The civilians make sure, we hope, that the soldier has the equipment, the technology, food, tanks, whatever. We have to make sure that the soldier is fully equipped overseas or wherever the fight is. Now, the interesting part about it now is, that's land warfare, and this might be a little bit too military, but today's environment, you got to think about cyber. You got to think about information technology. There is not a young person in this world that doesn't know about the internet, doesn't have a phone. Now there might be some computer issues. Not everybody's got computers, but cyber, you can be trained and get paid, for dealing with cyber. It's just, it's exponential.
We've got a young man that I watched play football this past season for Andrews High School, and that's exactly what he is looking to get into. So I'm gonna send this to his mother.
Absolutely.
Because
take a look at two things. You can just Google, opm.gov, the Office of Personnel Management.gov. That talks about all federal government jobs. You can also go on just usarmy.mil. You should be able to pull up U.S. Army. I'll do it right now if I can. Let me see.
And what's the first one again?
OPM, Office of Personnel Management. Just put opm.gov.
Mm-hmm.
And also, as we go through this, I want to narrow this conversation down to how do we get those services here in Andrews, because we talked about that briefly when I was up there a few months ago. But now we are through this election. Everything is, we want to now start to get these programs to come through here. How do my kids and my community citizens leverage, all of these new opportunities? All these opportunities.
Yeah, we need to talk about what surrounds Andrews and where, maybe junior ROTC in high schools.
We have that.
I need to know a little bit more about Andrews and what's around the environment, or what we can get in there through. We can actually probably set you up through the universities that are there. Now
what about the technical colleges?
Yeah. Vocation.
Okay.
The other website is army.mil. I just pulled it up. It's usarmy.mil, and it just has a lot of different informations on there. And I'll get you some direct websites for the different careers. And we'll talk about USA Jobs later.
Yeah, I'm also interested in the civilian jobs that we talk about, the GS jobs.
Absolutely. And that's, I'll make sure that you have sites. Matter of fact, let me look up CHARA. It's the Civilian Human Resources Agency. And that should take you to, I can send you a list. I'll send you a list, but I'm looking at, there we go. Welcome to CHARA. Job opportunities is right there. It's portal. I can send it to you.
Is that what Jamal has up there now? Yeah, OPM. Okay.
No, that's OPM. That's the Office of Personnel Management. That's all federal government. But what I want to make sure that you get to is the Army portal, which is, I'll send it to you right now. I don't know how. I'm working off the laptop in my phone.
And also, if there's the ability to work remote, because not everyone's going to want to pick up and leave, but if there's opportunity, if we have the expertise local, they can work remote, like we have, or you have for the last, few years during the COVID.
The pandemic made telework and remote work much more amenable to hiring supervisors, depending on the job. A lot of us have been working at home since the pandemic. Well, I'm not working anymore, but the jobs that are listed, yeah, whatever. The jobs that are listed will tell you whether or not the job is able to be remote. All cyber jobs, you can just think of what could be remote and what cannot be remote.
That's right.
So, and I'm looking at this. I don't know if you can write it down. It's portal.cms. chra.army.mil/HR_, I know that's a bit much,
Yeah.
public.
If you could copy that link and send it, and we
Sure.
can look it that way. Okay.
Because, and I'm looking at it right now, it's got job opportunities right there. You just open that up. It shows you where the locations are. And again, you got to deal with whether or not it's high school. You know, there's pathways, there's internships, there's journeyman positions. I'll send it to you right now.
Yeah, because again, you know, I think for many of in our community here, if they can, again, you know, qualify for these type jobs and it can be remote, I think it just helps with the obviously more income, improve the quality of life, those kind of, you know, that kind of stuff.
And what you might want to do, what you might want to think about, Frank, is we can get somebody from Chara to come to Andrews.
Yeah.
You know, and actually we could do mock interviews, resume writing. Now, resume writing for the government is, you know, it's a headache, I will tell you. If I had to apply for a job today, I'd probably not be a happy person. But there's, you know, for everything that we do, there's always somebody that knows how to do it.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's one of the things we're doing with the fraternities. We can get the Omegas to host or sponsor Chara coming to Andrews, getting to a high school, getting to a near college, you know, bus folks around and do a whole dog and pony show, Frank.
So what we'll do, yeah. So after this, it probably won't be this week. Next week, you and I talk and kind of think through how we would execute this thing, and then so we can get these folks down. Because I'll get the high school principal, and I'll ask her to join us in this conversation, and to help get the word out through the school district. And of course, my primary focus is Andrews first, but certainly if it's it could be beneficial to the entire county. It's giving our kids, our citizens, some, you know, other, and this is how we bring, you know, everybody's not going to be able to go out and travel around. We can bring it to them, you know, and it, you know, gives them other opportunities, especially as these kids enter into the junior high and high school. It gives them much more to think about as opposed to just not, and wellness is great and all that stuff that we offer here, but we have some bright young men and women here. We want to expose them to other things. You know?
Absolutely. And don't forget, okay, what I just sent you did not go through. I'll figure that out later.
We'll talk.
Okay. Yeah. And again, I think if we just put a strategy in place or a plan, it's just too easy. It's just too easy.
And I, you know, and I don't know if you have, you know, like satellite office for some of the things, again, because you're going to have to, if you're going to integrate down into the communities like you're talking about, the Army's going to have that reach. You're going to have some boots on the ground that can manage that.
That's what I need to know. What's around Andrews? What's the closest? We need to look at federal government. Even, matter of fact, it might not even be the Army. You might have a HUD office somewhere down there. You might have some sort of, it could be a contract management. It could be Defense Logistics Agency. It might not be Army. I don't know. We need to find out what government facilities. You might have a general servicing, the GSA folks down there somewhere. Where's the closest federal building in Andrews? Either in Andrews or around Andrews.
Murderbridge, Charleston, or Columbia, as you're talking federal level. Yeah, we'll look at the eaches on that and see where we can possibly bring those resources here.
Okay, very good, very good.
Yeah. So
Miss Simma, they loving you. They ready for you to move to Andrews, Miss Simma.
Well, now look,
she was here. She came down from retirement.
And I'm not being funny. Now I've been to Andrews. I have been to Andrews on 2 occasions. Matter of fact, my sister just reminded me. I like you, Miss Simma. I like you too. I've been to Andrews, and there's nothing stopping me from getting to Andrews.
So she just mentioned her sister. So let's Michelle.
I don't know if Michelle, she's getting ready for surgery tomorrow.
Yeah, but she was the first
Michelle,
probably first female.
Can you make an appearance?
African American that is the top non-commissioned officer in the entire reserve.
He said he can't make an appearance.
Hey, I was telling them about Michelle being the top command sergeant major in the entire reserve force.
The first, wait a minute, now let's get this right.
I know.
African American.
The first woman.
Get
She held the highest position of any woman in the Army, active or reserve.
Yes.
Did you hear that? Because
Yeah,
anyway.
I heard her, and she was, after she retired, she was appointed by President Obama to
Absolutely. She was the DOD liaison to the White House and was appointed by President Obama. How come you can't?
these are the people I hang out with, you know, and they're cool too, you know.
Yeah, we're cool. We're cool. We're
cool
cool.
people, man.
We're cool. Michelle been to Andrews. Michelle came to Andrews too.
They were here for my retirement in
You look
August
beautiful.
of
Come on over
2015.
here. This is all informal. Nobody's dressed up.
Hey, you know how Michelle roll.
Come on, Michelle.
It's not going to happen.
Hey, you don't get to be
coming.
top notch without, you know what I mean?
She's coming. She's coming.
Okay, I'm gonna stick my head in for 1 minute. And
All right.
just my arm.
No,
Hello.
And she has you on a freeze frame.
For surgery.
Yeah, she's got surgery in the morning.
Good seeing you, Michelle.
Good to see you as well.
You're talking about a power hitter. Well, both of these ladies are. Michelle actually was.
Yeah, Google Michelle. Don't Google me. Google Michelle.
Yeah, and Simma was, you know, surveying all of her career, and so it was a great team. I learned a lot from all of these young women, and we got a whole bunch of, you know, male friends behind them too. We don't want to start bringing them out yet.
I was gonna bring them, but I didn't.
Who are you bringing out?
I was gonna bring a couple frat bros up in here. I was gonna bring Sergeant Major Ebenezer up in here. I didn't.
We're not ready for Sergeant Major yet. The world is not ready for him.
So,
yeah,
Sergeant
we'll
Major,
pick them up.
so some the colonel, we're working on, me and another gentleman on the production. The colonel's going to be starting a podcast. It's going to be called Coffee with the Colonel. So these type of conversations, this is kind of like a preview, guys, to what you know, the type of conversations, you know, that's going to be taking place over there. And everybody's loving it. I'm telling you that right now. Shakira said, please speak to us remotely monthly. Please, your information can help. And it's true, can help a lot of people.
I mean, we can do that.
Hey, coffee, listen, you and Coffee with the Colonel, I'm gonna have to make a trip up to the VA. And yeah, this is he had last night, we had on Sergeant Major. Does she know Sergeant Major?
I don't think you ever met. No, she had never met Sergeant Major Gibbs. We served at Arson together. Now she knows. Now my best friend is up there. She knows Art Sobers. So we'll have Art on. That's a whole nother conversation. That's my dude.
Now we have lots of resources. Matter of fact, thank you. Says please come back, Miss Emma. Matter of fact, another Fred brother of yours, Dr. Richardson, is really looking to infuse some young, you know, men, and matter of fact, he was the director of Upward Bound when I was in high school, and we've just kind of reconnected, and he was my first boss, my first mentor. So we're going to get him to the Steve Harvey camp. He's going to do yoga, you know, for young men. So he's really looking for something. We can get you. Yeah, we can get you what you need.
And the other thing I want to get to, and against a lot of stuff, but I want to find some intern programs for my young high school kids that they can go, and whether it's at the Supreme Court, in the Pentagon, I want to get them exposed to.
Well, Frank, I don't have to tell you who we need to reach out for that. That should be a piece of cake, and that's your fraternity brother right there, South Carolina.
Which one?
Clyburn.
Clyburn. All right. Well, it's not just in the political arena. I want to get them a tour of the Pentagon. I want to get them on the ground.
Piece of
I want to
cake.
get them in your organization up there at Fort Belvoir. You guys still at Fort Belvoir? Or?
Yeah, they're at Fort Belvoir. I'm nowhere, but I'm still connected. You know, I'm still going to have folks that can get you what you need.
Okay.
Not a problem.
Yeah,
You've been, Frank, you've been talking about this since 1997.
I know. We're at that point we have to execute now.
Absolutely.
Because we see, you know, again, I'm a product of being exposed to that, you know, that environment and how it has helped my career along the way. And so
we all have to give back. We all should be giving back, and not to be, you know, the bearer of bad news, but we are in a time right now that is bad. You know, it's the environment is not healthy. The environment is not good for everybody. So wherever you can find goodness, grab it. Grab it.
Will. Yep. We'll do that. We'll plan it, and we're gonna do that this summer. So we'll start looking for opportunities and talking to the kids. And you and I, we have some work to do behind the scenes, so we can kind of so I can better understand where we can plug in to get our kids.
Why not start like a mentoring? It doesn't have to be monthly; it could be quarterly. We can get folks to come to Andrews at their cost, and meet with kids and talk. You know, do you know how many general officers Accessions Command is standing back up? I don't know if you remember Brigadier General Gant. She is now the director of AMO, which is the Army marketing piece.
You know, they came down to my battalion, and in fact, it was a part of that whole Army Strong transition from Be All You Can Be.
Well, she is now the director. Now Be All You Can Be is back, and she is the director. They're reestablishing Accessions Command. And AMO is coming out of ASAMRA and going back to Accessions Command. And the two gentlemen that I introduced you to, Jimmy and Kevin, who worked for me, they're going with her. And between her and General Johnson and the marketing piece out of Chicago, I mean, you can get everybody down there. General Monero.
Yeah.
I mean, folks will come and talk to these kids, give them something to think about. And you get you get both. You get the military and the civilian. You get to choose. I mean, you know, it's a choice. It's a choice.
I had the opportunity today. I met with some of the cadets from another town, Hemingway, and kind of expressed that to them today. And so I'd like to go back, and I told them I'll come visit them as well. But I want to go back. Once I go back, then we'll have some tangible information, if you will, that can help them shape their decision-making process in terms of what they want to do. And I would like for all of our kids to go in the military for at least 3 years.
Absolutely. But the Army's finally come to grips with, they got to start K through 12, you know, just about the different opportunities that are available. You don't want to just get a lead. You don't want to just get somebody to sign up. It's about access to information, access to opportunity, and access to choose.
Absolutely. Now, the thing is, once we get these funds, I know how the government works. They'll get it all stood up, but the sustaining dollars, the sustaining money, you know, this will become, and we'll talk about this, this will become a part of that budget process. So these things any program we stand up on this end, would it be able to be, you know, resourced?
Yeah, don't call it diversity. Don't call it diversity. That's all I can tell you.
No, I won't. Now, you guys are, I think,
outreach. It's about outreach and engagement. Period.
Yeah, I know. Diversity is a bad word right now.
It's not a bad word.
Well, I know it's not good for you all to hear in your field. I get it.
Nobody knows. No. I don't. No. It's not even that. I don't think everybody has. When they say the word, I don't think they know what they're talking about. But
I know.
That's me. That's me. Look, somebody said diversity is bad. No. Diversity. The Webster Dictionary definition of diversity is great. It's the application where people don't understand what it means, and people have placed perceptions and connotations that are not necessarily.
Hey, I'm a DOME trained guy. I know what you're talking about. I'm just trying to help our audience.
Yeah.
I know. I know the sensitivity of it. I know people think like this. What was the
Bottom line? You want the opportunity to engage, and you want access to information that everybody else has. Period. It
Yeah.
don't matter. It shouldn't matter where we come from. It shouldn't matter who we know. Please let's just get through October.
That's all good. And we'll talk. I don't want to hold you too long. I know you're an early bird. But this is, of course, people are interested in what we're talking about. And I think anything that can improve the quality of life and, give kids opportunity, like you just explained it to us, is worth, being on the podcast to talk about it, getting this information out. And we'll definitely thank Jamal for giving us the opportunity to do that. And we'll talk some more, because I know his wheels are turning. We want to know who else we need to bring on to further this conversation.
Good.
That and then other things, because you're all the work. You're 43 years. You come with a lot of experience, and so we're going to leverage that.
We're going to hook you up with the people, Jimmy and Kevin. You're going to be dealing directly with them. We're going to get you, like I said, General Gant. You already know these people.
Yeah, I know them.
So yeah, we'll get them to do the administrative stuff. I'll be glad to direct you in the right. Hey, I'm available. How about that?
I know, Mr. Retiree. Hey, look. When am I gonna get the opportunity to go back to the Bahamas or wherever the next trip is?
Oh well, you have to talk to wherever the conclave is. That's the second time they've been to Nassau, Bahamas. But yeah,
we'll change the clave. It's gonna change. It may be Vegas. I don't know what's next. What's coming up?
Hey, I'll be in Vegas December 4th through the 9th. So if you see a news bulletin the first week of December that somebody hit the Mega Millions, that will be moi.
So when are we going again?
December 4th through the 9th.
Okay.
Come on.
Michelle.
I'm not scared.
Hey, Texas. What's
Texas? Vicky. She's not going. It was supposed to be a girls' trip, but Vicky ain't going.
It's not going to be the same. Y'all got to take Vicky with you. Got to take Vicky. But no, that's all. That's good stuff. So Jamal, it's you, man.
Hey! Listen, as long as the crowd's loving it, I'm loving it, baby. You know what I'm saying? This is awesome. This is awesome. I mean, and this is necessary. So, Ms. Simma, you look forward to. They talking about quarterly. You'll be back here before the quarter. I promise you that.
Oh yeah.
Not a problem. Not a problem. I love it. I didn't want to retire, but 43 years, you can only do but so much.
No doubt, man. And shout out to you for your service for 43 years. You feel what I'm saying? And bringing Andrew, South Carolina into the light, that because we only thought, and I'm taking the liberty of saying we, but I only thought the only way you got through that door was through, and you just shed the light on something that I'm sure some young person is going to come across this. And one of my football players, but listen, one of my volleyball players, basketball players, man, that's.
Hey, let me tell you what this lady did. So in 2005, I think I was a battalion commander at Fort Jackson. So we have our annual, ball. Everybody dress up, look good. So you came. So Simma came down, but not only did she come down, we were looking for a guest speaker. And so who did she bring with her? It was the Coach Brown,
Boone, Coach Boone from Remembering the
Coach Boone, yeah. Remember the Titans? Herman Boone.
Wow.
But then, he came from DC. Now I haven't been keeping up with him.
No, he passed.
He passed away. That's what I thought. I think we talked about it. Yeah,
he passed, and he was your fraternity brother.
Yeah. He but yeah, so to say that, she's connected to a lot of resources and they all love her. We all do, Simma, everybody knows Simma.
Yeah, but we all love Frank now. Don't get it twisted now. Frank's the man. Don't let him tell you different. And he has had this, he's talked about Andrew's since I've known him.
That's yeah.
Ask his daddy. I know his daddy. I know his sister. I know. I know his daddy. There he goes. Ooh, look at Frank. Oh Lord.
I was slim back then. I used to run a lot. That's when you knew me right there when I was a captain. That's when you met me.
He was mean. Me, woo, tell about congratulations. Woo. Okay, yeah, that was Frank. Uh-oh. There we go. Yeah.
Hey, Summer.
What?
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Even the best. And let me tell you, and for those of you who know anything about, protocol or, retirement ceremonies, promotion ceremonies, Frank has got some real big connections with those that have promoted him, that respect him, that know he's the man. I don't even know why he's playing like, you don't know.
Look, it's so the whole thing with this congratulations. So I was being promoted from captain to major in the Pentagon, right? So someone tells me, oh yeah, well I know somebody out, who do the cake and they'll have it all, all this tank on the cake and have it all jazzed up. So we got here in the Pentagon. So everything went well. When everything was falling into place. So one of my guys from the office came and said, "Hey sir, I think they spelled the congratulations wrong on the." It was spelled congratulate. I said, get that stuff out of here.
Congratulations. No
congratulations. I don't know. Did I pay that guy?
You proofed the cake. I mean, you met with the guy with me. Don't blame it on me.
They brought it in. No, it wasn't on you. He brought it. I don't know how it got delivered, but no one ever checked. And I'm like,
no one checked. And the cake there, we got 4-star generals running around, get ready to promote. and it's not spelled right on the cake, but it was a beautiful cake.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Had a Bradley on it, all things.
All that to say,
I said, cut this thing up. Cut it.
Yes, cut it. There's always something to do. That's right.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Congratulations.
Somebody put it up there. Congratulations.
We've had many. We can't a lot of stuff we can't talk about on here. So we had we were sociable too.
No, Frank is a special person, and don't let anybody tell you anything different.
You're too kind.
No,
we appreciate you. But
no doubt.
We'll get back to the we'll follow up. I want to get those resources out here as quick as possible. And I know things how the government turns. It's like watching paint dry sometimes, but
that's all right. No, I think you'll get a lot of people that are very interested in doing it, because we've got to do a groundswell. You got to do a groundswell.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Okie doke.
No doubt. Okay, so listen, I want to thank you, Ms. Emma. Again, this is the first of many. Colonel's been talking about you since he always talks about you, and like the last time he was going up, he was excited about that. He was like, I'm going up, you know what I mean, girl Simma, and
don't make me get in my car.
Well, so you come see about it now.
So
hey, we need to go so we can go to the wharf.
Oh yeah,
all this. Yeah. Oh my God,
you wouldn't recognize it. Did you see it? You wouldn't recognize it. The wharf is still there. The big shrimp is big.
Oh yeah. Some of the best seafood up there.
Yeah.
No, when I was up there last time, we had all that smoke coming from Canada. All that you just had DC. Looks like it was a London fog, man.
It's all metropolitan, Cosmo. They got new restaurants, apartment buildings. The marina is expanded. It's crazy.
Yeah, anything like up. Okay, good. Hey, it's good seeing you and talking to you. Michelle,
hey, awesome.
I wish you the best.
Awesome.
Okay, I tell you, it wasn't going to be bad.
Andrews, I'm not mad at Andrews.
That's what's up, man. We're gonna drop a bomb for Miss Simma. You know what I mean? Because you are the bomb, got the bomb information, and you're right. Information is power, and that's where we were losing a lot of time in the information. But again, through the marvels of modern technology, won't he do it?
Phone call away. Phone
Yes,
call
man.
away.
All right, so hey guys, listen. I thank you guys for tuning in. Y'all make sure y'all share this podcast out. This is information packed. Make sure you go over to these websites.
And I'm
OPM.
gonna send you a list. I'm gonna send you a list.
Absolutely. And I'll get that up. As soon as I get that up, I'll put it up on my page, guys. From there, hey, peace. We out.